Hello, my name is Joanna. Welcome back to my channel. I am an N1 student in New York City, and this video is about my 7 tips for commuting in college, graduate school, or medical school. I commuted both by the subway system because I'm in New York City, and I also started driving once I got my license to school. So these are the tips that I use to make sure that I didn't die or didn't fail my classes because I was late all the time. So tip number 1 is to pack lightly. If you're taking the train, if you're taking the bus, some type of public transportation, or even driving, no matter what you're doing, what you carry to school with you stays with you all day. And that's a lot. So what I would suggest you do is to pack as lightly as possible. What I do, I'll show you my book bag right now. I have this book bag. It's kind of small for what you'd expect for science student, and I kept it this way because the smaller my bag is, the less tempted I am to fill it up. I used to work as a lifeguard and swim instructor during my undergrad as well, and I would always make sure I could fit my work stuff in my book bag as well, so I don't have to have an extra bag. I would get PDF versions of my textbooks, so I didn't have to buy physical books. I did that with review books as well. If I had classes that were related, instead of multiple separate notebooks, I'd either buy a 1-inch binder and make sure I'm switching out the pages, or I'd buy 1 3-subject notebook, and each subject had its own section. I would type notes when I could and print them because I know paper works a little better for me. I would just make sure that I'm condensing my stuff as much as possible because you don't want a heavy book bag. I made a mistake before of having a heavy bag, and I had such bad back pain. So pack lightly. I would also suggest, if your school has it and you're commuting, get a locker at school. Keep your bigger books and things you don't use every day there, and just use them on campus. That is a big tip. Okay, tip number 2 is to bring your own lunch or to meal prep. This is my lunch box. I love it. It's small because, again, pack lightly, tip number 1. But if you have the right size container, you can actually fit 2 or 3 meals in here. So depending on how long you are on campus, bring enough food with you to last you all day. I don't know what area you're in where you're watching this video, but I know for me, being in NYC, food is very expensive. And I hated spending $10 to $15 a day just to stay alive. I know that some students commute because of the saving money aspect, so this really ties into that. You're saving a lot of money if you're able to bring some food with you. Pack some snacks. I love bringing fruit. I bring some bars sometimes, like Belvita biscuits or Lara bars, or carrots. I should bring carrots. So make sure you just bring lunch. It really saves so much money. My 3rd tip is to add disaster time, what I call disaster time, to your commute. So this might not pertain to everybody, but I know that when I was taking the train especially, and still now that I'm driving, you're taking the ideal commute time and you're adding 15, 30, 45 minutes on top of it so that you can ensure nothing happens. This is great if your school has an attendance policy and a lateness policy that you need to adhere to keep your grades together. I know many medical schools, students don't necessarily go to lectures, they'll just watch podcasts. My school now has an attendance policy, so I know that I need to make sure I'm there on time and in class. So disaster time will save you. And that takes me to tip number 4, which is to use a planner that allows you to use a time schedule, or use a time schedule planner. When I was commuting, for those 2 years, I had a passion planner. And what I would do is, when I was planning out for the week or for the day, I would figure out where I had to be at what times and block out the commute. So if I had to be at school at 8, I would color in the commuting time from home for 6:30. So for 6:30 to 8, my planner said train or driving or something like that. And then when I worked after school, the walk from my campus to the pool was ideally 15 minutes. I would add 20 minutes disaster time to it because, again, walking, anything can happen. A whole street was shut down for a bomb threat one day. I'm telling you, it's crazy. So I added disaster time when I color in that commute time. Make sure you're using your planner very, very wisely, because when you're a commuter, you realize you don't have as much time as a student who lives on campus, and you have to become that time management expert if you're gonna ace school, right? So yes, that is a huge, huge tip. Tip number 5, prepare your outfits the night before. My parents used to do this with us, my sister and I, when we were younger, or especially when we were in all girls Catholic school for high school. We would iron up all our uniform the weekend before. It saves you so much time in the morning, especially if you have morning classes, or if you have to look professional, or you have to wear a certain thing each day. When you plan it the night before, that removes an entire decision from your morning, and your morning is so much more efficient. Okay, and now for tip number 6. Use your time on campus extremely wisely. Use your time so wisely. Like I said before, as a commuter, you don't have as much time as the students who live on campus. So when you are on campus, you are using that time extremely efficiently. If you have larger breaks in between classes, you're studying, that's the time you schedule meetings, that's the time you go to club events. Make sure that every second on campus is meaningful. I had a friend when I was taking my public policy minor who put all her classes on Tuesday, Thursday. So she was on campus from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And there was huge gaps in between her classes. So she would use that time to study and finish up all the assignments for those classes, and also schedule like group project meetings. Everything was happening on campus Tuesday, Thursday. And so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, she could work and not have to worry about being on campus. That is great. So yes, use your time very wisely. This is another time when that schedule planner that I was talking about, like the passion planner, comes in handy, because you can really block out those hours of time. And finally, for tip number 7, it is do not worry. You have your reasons for commuting. I had my reasons for commuting. Once you have figured out your reasons for commuting, don't worry about anything else. You're still going to make friends. You're still going to have a meaningful college experience. It is not the end of the world. Yes, it's a bit harder, but I'm telling you, you can get through it if you have the right reasons and the right motivations for doing it. I remember when I was commuting, I took it upon myself to talk to people in my classes. I didn't have time to mingle in the dorms, so I talked to people in classes. I had a lot of fun during my commuting years because I took the effort to make sure that I was meeting people and I was talking to people and I was doing things to make me happy. I made sure that when I was on campus, I made time to meet people too, and I had a lot of fun. So I hope that those 7 tips were useful. Those are tips that really got me through my commuting days. If anyone wants, I can do a morning routine video for when I am commuting. Yeah, if you want that, let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching my videos. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell me what to do. Yes, that's it. Bye.